Hello, math students. Welcome back to Module 11, Geometry. This is Lesson 10, and it is called Surface Area. Surface area, our goal for today. Today we will learn how to determine the surface area of three-dimensional figures. The question that I want you to think about during this lesson is, how do you find the surface area of a composite figure? All right, things to remember. Surface area is the amount of space that it takes to cover a figure. It's like wrapping paper. Okay, I really want you to think about that. If you were going to wrap a present for me and you didn't want me to see what the present was, you would want the paper to cover every space. But what you have to remember in math is we don't overlap. When you wrap a present for your mom, you use like 50 yards of wrapping paper and then you just wrap it all around and use lots of tape. Well, that's not what you're doing in math. In math, they only want you to cover each surface area. So it is like wrapping paper, but you don't overlap. That's how I like to remember it. So again, what comes in handy to help us with figuring surface area out is the use of that knowledge for finding area. The area of a rectangle is area equals length times height, or, length times width, or base times height. Area of a square means that you're taking side times side, or side squared. Area of a triangle is half of the base times the height. Area of a circle is pi times radius, or pi times radius squared. Okay, we got to get those drilled into our head and remember them because it will just make everything in your life so much easier. Surface area is determined by finding the area of all the polygons and adding them together. So it's very, very similar to composite figures. Okay, the biggest difference is that you're doing a three-dimensional figure in this lesson, whereas in the past we were only doing two-dimensional, so they were flat. Now three-dimensional means that they have depth. So in this picture, if you're looking at it, the first thing that I always do when I'm trying to find surface area is I identify all of the surfaces that I'm dealing with. And so the first thing that I want you to see is there are two triangles in this three-dimensional figure, and I'm going to try to shade them just lightly so that you can see them. So here's one of the triangles there, and then down here is another triangle. So do you see the triangles? Okay, good. Then we have one rectangle, one rectangle, one rectangle. All of you are going, oh my gosh, she's lost her mind. Nope, I haven't lost my mind. Here is one rectangle. Does everybody see it? One rectangle. It's that flat bottom. So if this was like a tent, this would be the floor. Okay. Then there is another rectangle, and the other rectangle, can't use that color because I use that for triangles. Let me use this color instead. Then I have this rectangle here. I don't know if you guys see it. It's like again, if this was a tent, this would be the top side of the tent. And then we have another rectangle sitting right here. And that was the other side of your tent, okay? And so the two triangles, I went ahead and wrote out the dimensions for you. So it says half of 8 feet times 15 feet. Then we have to do that times 2 because there's two triangles, okay? And then it says that we have to take the area of the rectangle that is 15 feet by 20 feet. So 15 feet by 20 feet, that would be that guy. And then we have a rectangle that it says 17 feet by 20 feet, so that would be the orange guy, the bottom of the tent. And then we have an 8 foot by 20 feet, that would be the red one. So this one is the red one, right? This one right here is the orange one that I drew. And this one right here is the purple one that I drew. And then this one is covering both of your triangles. Okay, so then that's pretty simple of what to do. So half of 8 is 4. 4 times 15. So half of 8 is 4. 4 times 15 gives me 20, 60. And then I'm supposed to multiply that by 2. And when I do, that's 120 feet squared. So the triangles is 150 feet squared, or 120 feet squared, sorry. Okay, now let's do the rectangle. So we're going to take 15 times 20. Well, I know 15 times 2 is 30, then multiply that by 10, and that would give us 300 feet squared, right? That was in my head math. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. And then 17 times 20, well, I know 17 times 2 is 34, and then I multiply that by 10, so I have 340 feet squared. Okay, okay? And then I have to do 8 times 20. Well, 2 times 8 is 16 times 10 is 160 feet squared. And then what it says, surface area is determined by finding the areas of all the polygons and adding them together. So now let's add them all together. So I have 120 plus 300 plus 340 plus 160, and I get 10, 11, 12, and I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my grand total surface area, the surface area for the triangular prism, is 920 feet squared. Okay? And that's all you have to do. Not too difficult, right? So basically, finding surface area is just like finding the area of composite figures and then adding it all together. So you have to find the area of each face and then add it together, and that gives you the total surface area of the three-dimensional figure. Okay? So going back to our goal for today, we will learn how to determine the surface area of three-dimensional figures, which we just did. How do you find surface area of a composite figure? Basically, the same way you find the area. You just have to remember that you're finding the area of each three-dimensional side. Okay? Three-dimensional side. Finding area, adding them all together. And don't forget, it's area, so it's squared. 920 feet squared. All right, kiddos, that's all I have for you in this lesson. Talk to you soon. Bye.